In this video, I'm going to show you how we can use SlideGen to create a report for a concept test. The same logic you see here can be applied to ad tests, pack tests, A/B tests, and really any research project where you have repeated cells. This is the template we're using today. I have 3 different camping meal concepts for my customer Wild Roots, and I want individual sections for each concept, and then at the end we'll create a section where we compare each side by side. Jumping into the platform, I've already uploaded the PowerPoint template and the data. On this slide, I've already mapped data to the chart and applied a few transformations to get the data in the exact position that I need it. So I've trimmed the data, which means that I have kept only the top 5 rows, getting rid of the nets. I have switched the rows and columns, and then I've reversed the order of the columns so that this is the right way round when I export it from the platform. I've also mapped data to the individual top 2 boxes, and I've brought in the base sizes for each of my individual segments. And importantly, I've brought in some text from the tables as well, like the table name, the individual concept name. This one is One Pot Camping Meals, and the concept description. That means that when we go on to repeat this for other concepts, that information will update at the same time as the data. So I won't need to go through and change all of that once we export from the platform. Talking about exporting from the platform, you'll notice that this slide doesn't look exactly as it did in the PowerPoint itself, but don't worry, when we download from the platform, everything will go back to its original form. It will just be populated with data, so this slide will look perfect. I'll show you the download at the end of this video. Before we go on to repeat this slide for other concepts, firstly, I need to repeat it for 2 other questions relating to One Pot Camping Meals. Those 2 questions are interest and likelihood, so we'll go ahead and do that now. And that's done. So technically these 3 questions relate to one concept. Next, I want to repeat these for my second and third concepts. And then I just want to put my dividers in place just so that we can easily see how this is broken up into 3 different distinct sections, once for each concept. There we go. So already we've just created 8 new slides in a fraction of the time that it would have taken to do this manually. And it's not just the data that's updated. Our base sizes, if they were changing, would have updated as well. But importantly, the text that we map to the individual text boxes updates as we move into new concepts. So here we have the One Pot Camping Meals, but if we click on what is next, the camping pots, you see here that the text all updates, as well as the data, as well as the base sizes, the top 2 data, the table name, and the question text at the bottom. So I appreciate you may not be using the same slide design over and over again. I have a slightly different layout here with the data all mapped already, and then I've used transformations to sort the data and then ensure that the additional charts all follow the same order. So this is my master chart, if you will, and I've sorted the data based on the total column, and then I've anchored my labels for other and don't know right at the bottom of the chart here. So they're always going to be at the bottom, even if we end up switching the data and other is 52%, it won't appear in the middle of the chart. It'll always be stuck to the bottom. Instead of then doing that, repeating those same steps again and again, I've just copied the order from this chart to my second chart and then done the same for each of these as well. So I don't have to go through and manually reorder the data in Excel before putting it into the charts. So just by using the mapping and the transformation features, I will have already saved myself a whole heap of time. But I have 2 other concepts, so rather than doing this 2 more times, I can just use that repeat button again and then reorganize into the different concept sections. As quickly as that, and then even the sorting has been reapplied. So my top isn't always going to be the top. So I based it on this slide here, where the top was lower price meal. I repeated it for the second concept, and tasty recipes comes out top for this chart. So rather than just assuming that the order is going to be exactly the same, the platform takes the data and then reapplies those data transformations that we did before to make sure that the data is in the correct position on the new slides that have been produced. At the end, I have a section that compares the 3 new concepts for my customer side by side. Perhaps here I'll show you how we can apply some SIG testing to this chart. So on the right hand side, I have visual transformations. One of those is SIG testing. For this one, I think I want to do a test between my rows, and I'm going to do an all versus all test because I essentially want to see, okay, for total, which of these comes out highest. In my visual settings, I have the option to turn brackets on and off, use uppercase letters or lowercase letters. I think we'll leave that as it is for now and hit apply. There we go. So the platforms run a SIG test across the individual rows, and you can see here that this one is significantly higher than both A and C, and then this one is significantly higher than just C. And then finally, to achieve a comparison of the 3 appeal, interest, and likelihood to purchase questions, I could have pulled data from 3 different tables and had 3 different charts on this slide. But because I want to be able to use the repeat slide, I've asked for summary tables in my Excel to make this process a little easier. Let me just show you what those look like in the Excel. So down here we have the appeal summary, interest summary, and likelihood to purchase summary. And then I can just use the magic repeat button one more time to repeat for interest and likelihood. Let's now export from the platform and show you the PowerPoint. So I hit download all slides. This is the file that SlideGen has very kindly created for us. We have perfectly crafted slides all ready to send to our client, all in a fraction of the time that it would have taken us to do this manually. Your client's probably going to be so happy that they'll even send you some of their new products to try out.